All right, perfect. All right, well, welcome to the featured member uh,
Thank
segment for our first official featured member.
you. Thank you. I am very glad to be here. I really appreciate you asking me to do this. And sorry we had to put it off for a week. I
Oh no, it's no big deal. Yeah,
life life is life and
yeah, I get it. I get it. Life is life. Sometimes life
yeah,
happens.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
so, uh, so just get started here. So you've been in the industry for about 25 years. You said.
Yeah, yeah. I actually I did my first comic when I was in high school, so that would have been late 90s. Um
Okay.
and that was like a creator owned project I did myself. Had a little bit of help just with getting it produced from my brother in law, and
Okay.
uh, and then I even before that, like I got it into comics when I was like 5. I got my first comic book when I was 5, and like I started drawing and writing superhero stories right away. Um,
Yeah.
and then so after a lifetime of sort of putting myself through training for it, um, I was able to produce some professional work and kind of build a career in it.
Okay. That sounds awesome. For so you say you got your first comic when you were 5. Do you remember what that comic was?
Yes, I actually have the original copy still, and then I have a copy that's in much better condition because the original one is all beat up. But it
Yeah.
was Adventures of Superman, February 1987. I can't remember the exact number right now. I want to say it's like 425, but it's February 1987, Adventures of Superman.
Oh wow, that's awesome. See, I can't. I haven't. I think the only Adventures of Superman that I've owned are from. I think it was Death of Superman was the first one that I owned.
Right on.
Um, 90. What was that? 96.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been, yeah, mid 90s. Um, yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah.
And a great example of pacing. If you can't tell always if you see the individual issues, but in the collected book, if you look
Mhm.
through it, you notice that they actually specifically plan the number of panels for each page ahead. So the
Mhm.
story is faster as you read it. It starts
Yeah.
out, every page is like, I forget if it starts at 8 panels maybe. And then the
Mhm.
next issue, it's 1 panel less per page. And the next issue, until that final issue where he dies, it's all full page spreads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
it's,
I never noticed that until
yeah.
you said something.
But it's, yeah, that's actually a great example of pacing for like when you're
Mhm.
teaching. I've taught um at several schools, including courses specifically in sequential art and comic books.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, when you're talking about pacing and making the story slow down or speed up by your choices of what you show, what you don't show, and how many panels are on the page, that series, that Death of Superman run, is a great example of how you can manipulate the speed of the story with the page layout.
That's something I learned something new today. That's uh cool. That's awesome. So after you published, so you essentially self-published your first book. What was the course from that point on to like kind of give me like a highlight version of where you are today to getting to Creators Union?
Okay. Well, once I started doing my first couple of self-published books, I started sending work out to magazines and publishers, sending out submissions, like researching any publisher that had a website with
Hmm.
submission guidelines on it. I went there, I figured out what the submission guidelines were. I figured out if I could actually meet those requirements, and I started sending stuff. And where I got in first was with a publishing company called Tomorrows, and they do uh, comic book industry magazines, and each magazine has a different theme. So there's Back Issue, which is
Hmm.
all about comics from the past. So I started writing for them. And then there was Rough Stuff, which was all about art and illustration. And I started writing for that magazine too. Each one had a different editor, but they all had the same publisher. So I was writing for Rough Stuff, for Back Issue. Um, I think I did a couple issues of Draw. I also got in with Sketch Magazine, which was a different publishing company. They're Blue Line Pro, who make a lot of the professional Blue Line comic art boards.
Yeah.
They've they own Sketch Magazine, so I got in with them around the same time. So I was writing for Sketch. I was writing for Back Issue. I was writing for Rough Stuff and occasionally for Draw. So what happened was I built up a portfolio of samples where I showed that I could produce professional work on a monthly or a regular scheduled deadline. Some of the magazines were quarterly, some were monthly. Um, and that was really the biggest thing. Small company, small, essentially independent company. So
Hmm.
there isn't a huge budget. You're not getting paid a lot. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the subject matter. I loved the work I was doing, and it gave me that portfolio of professional comic industry work on a
Hmm.
regular basis, because that's what editors look for, is someone who can turn in work on a deadline.
Yeah.
uh, and sometimes turning in work on a deadline is more important than talent or skill, to a certain
Hmm.
extent. So eventually, I picked up, I believe it was the 50th anniversary magazine of Marvel. Would have been in the mid 2000s, mid to late to early 2000s. And I got the names of all the editors from that magazine, and I sent them all a pitch. I said, listen, I'm a huge fan. I've been collecting comics forever. I had thousands of comics, long boxes at the time,
Hmm.
uh, and said, listen, I can turn in work on a deadline, and sent them my portfolio samples of all the work I've been doing for smaller publishing companies. And I should add too, while I was working for Tomorrow's and Sketch Magazine, I was also doing color covers. I was doing lettering. I was doing inks with a whole bunch of different small publishers
Yeah.
at the time. Most of them are not around anymore,
Hmm.
but I had that body of work. And that's the biggest mistake that people make, is they think that they're going to get out of art school, or they're going to give up on their creator owned stuff and they're going to sell out and work for Marvel. And that isn't really what happens. Marvel does not hire people who are not known or don't have a body of work behind them.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, that's a generalization. Some people are super talented. Some people can draw a page that'll knock your socks off and it will get their attention. But you can be an amazing artist, but if you can't turn in the amount of work they need in a month for a deadline, you're not going to get hired as often. You're going to have a harder time getting employed. So that was the big thing. So I built up a good body of work with my own creator-owned stuff, with working for publishing companies like Tomorrow's and Sketch Magazine. And I can picture the book. I'm trying to remember the name of the publisher right now. But there was another publisher I was doing a lot of cover work for. They're no longer around. Um, and getting jobs online too, networking with people. Digitalwebbing.com used to have a really big looking for help message board, and hiring artists, hiring writers message board. So I was banging out little jobs here and there. Someone would need a colorist for their independent comic, I would do that. Someone would need an inker, I would do that. I did the colors on a series called The Standard for Comics Tribe. Really good series. Really enjoyed it. Great team of people to work with. And that did fairly well. It was about a superhero called The Standard who came out of retirement because the sidekick who had taken over his legacy had been murdered. And so he was trying to solve this mystery. Um, Again, great experience. And then that all led up to getting hired um, at Marvel. And there for Marvel, I was part of the writing team for the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. I was on the writing team for the spinoff. The Deadpool spinoff of that was Deadpool Core Rank and Foul. So I was on the writing team for Deadpool Core Rank and Foul. And I also did some colors for the Marvel Index, colors and restoration.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, I also got some work with Dark Horse, and I did a number of restoration and recoloring jobs for them for their hardcover reprint series that they do. There's a Daredevil reprint series. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Not everyone is, but there was a Daredevil character before the Marvel version.
You
Um,
know, I hear that a lot. Like a lot of characters, I hear just like they either. I'm like the more and more I like research, I kind of figure I'm hearing about characters like coming from either other publishers that are no longer around that were bought up by either Marvel, DC,
yeah,
or and then Daredevil. When uh when with Daredevil, I've heard that they're like that. Our current Daredevil is not the original Daredevil.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So there was a character called Daredevil during World War II who was mute instead of blind, and he had a different costume. It split down the middle, and one side was blue and one side was red, and it
Mhm.
alternated. So like his face was blue on the left side, red on the right side, and then his torso, the colors switched. Anyway, so he was a World War II character, very much like the Captain America characters of the time. They were fighting these exaggerated cartoons of German and Japanese villains and stuff. Um, and so I got a job with them doing the restoration and recoloring for the first hardcover collection of the original World War II Daredevil comics. And following that, the next gig I got was the first volume of Dagar the Invincible reprints. And Dagar, again, it's one of those characters where he's from the 70s and he's a ripoff of Conan, but he's ginger. And so he's a ginger Conan. And
Yeah.
what I really liked about that job was that the writing of the time, they
Mm.
didn't take things as seriously. I love 80s and modern comics that have like a dark, gritty theme,
Mhm.
and my favorite comics are like that. But with Dagar, what I really enjoyed was that like he's a ginger Conan and one of his best friends is a werewolf. And like there's an issue where they get captured by a sorcerer and they're chained up to a wall and he's over this pit and he says he's going to raise a demon. He's chanting and it's a dinosaur. A dinosaur comes out of the pit and then the werewolf gets free and so there's like a 4 or 5 page battle scene of a werewolf fighting a dinosaur, and I got to do the restoration and the coloring and all that, so like that was fun. I enjoyed that. That's great
That
stuff.
sounds I do enjoy a good fun comic. I know
Yeah.
my current my LCS here, I'm a big fan of Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I don't know if you remember from like the '90s and like when the original cartoon was coming out, everyone had to do their version of a mutant animal that fights crime,
Yes.
and so
Yeah.
that's where you come out with biker mice from Mars,
Yep.
street sharks,
Yep.
uh, SWAT cats, and all these
Yep.
guys. And
Remember
they
the
re-
Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa?
I'm sorry, which one?
The Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
It sounds like they're actually cows.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Should look that up.
I
Um,
should I should look. Yeah, yeah. Let me see here if I can pull this up. Got my other monitor over here. I was like, so it's the
Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
oh look at it, pops right up. Oh, this is actually no. I remember this. I remember this. I didn't. Yeah, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah. And they even did like they did a Toxic Avenger cartoon where it was Toxic Crusaders or something, where it was like Toxic Avenger and then all of his different mutated friends. Um,
this is hilarious.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so. A lot of these characters are getting books now, and I'm starting to collect them. And my comic book shop owner is just like, "You're the only person that buys these." It's like, I find them funny, and it's a
Yeah.
fun read,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been my sort of modus operandi too. It was my comic collecting is at least half of the stuff I collect is stuff that nobody else is looking for. And nobody
Mhm.
else and they're like, you're the only person who buys this. And I'm like, I know, but it's good. Like even at one time people used to really look down on the crossover books too, and I was always like, I will buy them all, and you get them dirt
Yeah,
cheap at like a flea market. And like look at how big Batman and Deadpool is now. It's not even out yet and people are like going crazy about it. And I'm going
yeah.
to get and I'm going to read it as well. um
I read they did so first one was Deadpool Batman, which is the
yeah,
Marvel release version of it,
yeah,
and so I got a bunch of covers of that, and then actually the giveaway for this month in the community is the David Nakayama cover of it,
yeah,
uh, and yeah, it's great. It's nothing but fun. Like this is like with comic books, like yeah, you want great storytelling, you want like an in depth, some dark and gritty stuff, but like for the most part, this is comic books are supposed to be fun.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And it's like I love both versions of the Ninja Turtles, the original black and white Eastman and Laird violent ones, and then
Mhm.
when they did the animated version with Archie. Like I collected both of those,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed them both for what they were. They were very different stories. Like the animated one had the Mighty Mute Animals in it and stuff like that, which was again like they had their own spin-off, and there's all these kind of freaky mutant animal people. And then like the original Ninja Turtles, it's a lot of space and dimensional travel and ninja stuff, and I mean there's a lot more killing and
Yeah.
violence, and like
Yeah.
even there was a mini series called Body Count that was just Raphael and Casey Jones, and they were like just killing bad guys like crazy. And
Yeah.
I can enjoy both, and I enjoy them for what they are.
Mhm.
um and like there's that late 80s early 90s era had a lot of fun comics, and I feel like that has been coming back, but for a while it was very much everything got really serious for a while,
Mhm.
like when you had the Dark Avengers and you had the everything had a dark added to the title. Everything was dark now.
You gotta be edgy. You gotta be dark and edgy. It
Yeah,
sells.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that was the trend at the time, but there's a lot of fun stuff coming out again now. So I think you're right that at the end of the day, it's escapism. You read comics so that you don't have to essentially be immersed in the real world.
Mhm.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
Uh, real
It's
world, not fun.
yeah. It's a what it is my escape. It's one of the things that like I do to escape from work and everything. And it's just fun. And actually, you brought up the original Ninja Turtles. I actually got this in the mail yesterday.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
Is
it
that a
was
first?
it is a first print. It is a first print.
Huh? Nice, nice.
Yeah, and I showed my daughter's getting a collecting too,
Oh, right
and
on.
so she knows that I read I love Ninja Turtles. Like their current storyline is more of a nod towards the original. Like it's a little edgier, it's a little darker and
Yeah,
stuff. But then I also have like the fun crossovers, like right now they have they did Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers,
right.
Ninja Turtles and Batman, Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles and Naruto the anime and all
yeah.
this stuff. And it's like I love all this. It's fun.
Yeah, well, the
It's a good
Batman Ninja Turtles crossovers ended up becoming a series, right? They did like the first few that were just individual one-shot crossovers, and then it was like the Batman animated series from the 90s crossover with the Turtles, and they had a whole series going on.
yeah.
Like, yeah. So like that's cool. That was something that like at that age, like when that was early 90s, I never would have thought we would have seen that Batman and the Ninja Turtles in an ongoing series together. Like that's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Awesome
it's
and crazy.
yeah, it's crazy, it's fun, and those like the turtles are just like a perfect example of like you can have these can be super edgy characters because they're ninjas, or
Yeah.
we can have the goofiest thing in the world, which is the
Yeah.
Saturday morning cartoon from when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just yeah, I love it.
Exactly. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
So moving, so I did want to ask you about. So you've
Sure.
mentioned a few times that at Marvel there was a story that you were that was a little on the darker side. That Marvel was just like no, and your
Yeah,
theory is protect their IPs, which
yeah,
I get. But what
yeah.
is this story? I kind of wanted to. I wanted. I'm super curious.
So the idea was the title was a bit of I I like you said, like comics should be fun. And so I like to write dark stories, but I also like to have goofy little inside jokes and
Hmm.
like have little nods and humor. So um the Spider-Man Broadway show that failed, it was called um was it Turn Off the Dark?
Let me see here. I can
So
figure this out.
that isn't as important, but
Yeah.
the title was a play on that. And so I might have been pushing my luck just with the title I gave it, but that was
Mm.
negotiable.
Yeah.
But the idea was I wanted to do a story that showed how far um, a character could be pushed, specifically Peter Parker, how far his psyche could be pushed to test his own limits of where he morally draws a line.
Hmm.
And so the ideal was I wanted to do a story where he's just coming back from being on some far flung intergalactic mission with the Avengers.
Hmm.
And when he gets back, he finds out that there has been a serial child abductor operating in Manhattan, in New York. And so there's this string of child abductions. And so he begins to investigate it. And he finally tracks down where this person is and he finds kind of their lair. It's kind of a this apartment squatting situation in a rundown building. And when he gets there, it's too late. The kids are not alive. They're
Oh,
dead. But
yeah.
the guy's there. And so he's faced with the moral dilemma of what does he do? What is he going to do to this person who's basically committed one of the most monstrous acts that anybody could think of?
Hmm.
And whether or not he can control himself enough to allow this guy to be taken in by the police. And what I wanted to do was basically have Peter really be on the verge of thinking about just knocking this guy's head clean off his body. I mean, he could. He's got these spider powers.
Yeah.
He's got super strength. And the idea being he ends up knocking the guy unconscious and webbing him up for the police to take.
Hmm.
And his moral dilemma, his struggle is really like he's standing there shaking. He can't think. He can't do anything. The guy's looking at him and he's just shaking because he's trying with all of his willpower just to not kill this guy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Marvel said that was too dark. But it made me think of I was really trying to evoke some of the stuff from the 70s, like the death of Gwen Stacy, the death of Captain Stacy, kind of an homage to that, kind of an homage to the 70s Green Arrow when Speedy was a junkie, stuff that was really, really deep. And I wanted to kind of explore the character and like what would make Spider Man almost snap.
Yeah.
Um, and I ended up shortly after that working on an app with Marvel and the app developer called Marvel Create Your Own, where you create your own comics.
Hmm.
And part of that contract was to produce some complete finished comics using the app that would be available for people to read for free um,
Hmm.
on the app's website. So I took that story and I had to add some more characters to it because they wanted us to use more characters to
Yeah.
show what characters you could use in the app. So I added Harry Osborn's Green Goblin.
Hmm.
And in the story, they have an uneasy partnership um, where Peter agrees to allow Harry to help him, even though he doesn't entirely trust him,
Hmm.
as long as he can keep an eye on him. And in that version of the story, Peter leaves the guy webbed up, but conscious, alive, doesn't knock him out, doesn't beat him. and it seems like Harry's Green Goblin has evaded him, has kind of taken off, taken advantage of distraction, and escaped, for lack of a better term. And Spidey, he just says, "Well, I'm not surprised," kind of scenario, and that's something I'm going to have to follow up with. And he leaves. Then we cut up to the roof where Harry's hanging out, and he comes back down the escape and just walks into the window of the building, and it's a shot just from the outside, and
Mhm.
there's sirens coming, and it's just the word balloons coming out of the window, and Harry says, "Well, it's going to take the police 5 minutes to get up here. Let's see what I can do in 5 minutes." And then the final panel is that guy screaming. You just see it in the air outside of the building. so so that was how I got to do it eventually.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously not as widely seen as I would have liked, but
Yeah.
it hit a lot of the same notes, and it let me play around with. I mean, one of the big things was I really wanted to do a lot of imagery of Spider-Man crawling around in the shadows, kind of like in the old original Spider-Man comics.
Mhm.
The first few appearances where he's kind of up in a corner like a spider would be crawling
Yeah.
around in a dark room where you don't even fully see him. You just see, light
Yeah.
reflects silhouettes and eyes. And so I got to do that, and I was happy with that. And you know, uh that was a good gig with Marvel. I got to actually go out to New York and train some people on how to use the app, and that was really fun. Um
That's I
yeah.
love that stuff. I love that. I was just like, oh, I need to find this and read this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't is the create your own app still an app? I haven't.
I think so. Honestly, it's been a few years and I haven't looked it up. But if you type in Marvel Create Your Own, and I want to say the app developer was called Tap Tap.
I cannot spell.
It's okay.
No. Here it is. Create your own.
So I should probably check in on that. I haven't been working on it or any kind of active work with Marvel for a couple years. So um, I'm not up on the current
Yep.
developments.
It's still up. It allows users to create and prototype apps. It is still available. It functions as a platform for designing, wireframing, and prototyping digital products, including mobile apps.
Okay.
I'm gonna
So
have to
yeah,
look into read the story because it sounds amazing.
yeah. And I got to do a Gwenpool Punisher crossover for that too. One of the other promo stories I did. So that
Yeah.
was fun because Gwenpool kind of fans out over Punisher, and Punisher is not super excited about their team up.
Yeah. Get on that
Gwenpool's like, "I love you. I love you. This is the greatest team up ever."
Yeah.
So
It sounds
again,
like yeah, it sounds like pretty much when any serious character runs into Deadpool.
you're right, right. So that was fun to do too. And I'm always working on stuff. I'm always working on something, multiple projects. So like with Creators Union, I'm working on courses to help teach other people.
Mhm.
I did a lot of teaching in physical schools for years, and then after COVID, all kinds of positions got eliminated. I was I could have been comfortable teaching video game design full time for a while, and then um, that job got phased out because of COVID. Everything went online, and then they realized that they didn't need multiple instructors at multiple campuses. They took all of the students and put them all online on a course with the teacher who had more seniority than I did.
Yeah.
so so that was something that really changed things a lot. And then I struggled for a little while afterwards to try and get a direction,
Mhm.
and kind of focused on just my own creator own stuff and my own books and self promotion. And for a while it was really weird. I used to do a lot of conventions before COVID. I used to travel a lot, and then when we couldn't go anywhere for 2 years, um, I I still really haven't. I've maybe only done 3 conventions since then, because
Wow.
and you know what? It's because they pop up here locally now because there's so many. Like where I'm at
Mhm,
now, there's conventions popping up everywhere. So they're little shows, but they're still good. And it's great to meet people. I just did one last weekend,
mhm,
uh, Saturday. Yeah, it was on the 8th. So it was a first time show. I wasn't expecting a lot. It was a small venue, but it was busy. There were so many people, and got to meet lots of people, shake lots of hands, talk about stuff, show off some of my prints and my artwork, and it was great. It was great, and it's one of those things that I'd like to get back into the schedule of, but I don't want to make the same mistakes I did before.
mhm.
I was running myself ragged before COVID with conventions where I do a convention and you meet 1,000 people in a weekend and you shake hands with them. You're gonna get something. So I
Mhm.
was I was doing a convention and then I'd have the flu. I'd be sick for 2 weeks and then I'd be well enough again just to come back in time for another convention and then be down for 2 weeks. And of course I've got to do my creative work during the week when I'm not at the conventions, right? So
Yeah,
it was just I had really run myself down for a while. So I don't want to do that again. So
yeah,
I'm still trying to find the balance of uh of doing more conventions again without getting crazy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's one thing. Well, I live all the way out in Guam, and
yeah,
yeah, so we don't have a lot of conventions. I think we have like one on island every year.
yeah,
Uh, and of course, we have like because like Japan's like a 4 hour flight, Singapore is like a
right.
3 hour. So like you can do that if you want to, but
Yeah.
that's one thing I do miss about being in the states is the all the conventions because I haven't been to a actual convention in 5 years, four
Yeah,
years, something like
that's fair.
that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
that's
been
that's something interesting is like you have been interviewing me and I've been talking my head off, but like I'm so interested in Guam.
oh, yeah, it's nice here. I like it.
Yeah. Why are you there and what brought you to Guam?
I'm in the military, so I'm Air
Okay.
Force, and
Okay.
yeah, we're stationed out here. I've been stationed out here for the past about almost 4 years now,
Okay.
uh, and it's a small little island in the middle of the Pacific, very remote. I think the quickest I've ever gotten a package is like maybe a week, and that's
Okay.
I timed it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's the community. It's a since it's such a small island, all the communities here are very tight knit.
Yeah.
It's kind of built into the culture. Like the comic book store I go to is my kitchen is bigger than the comic book store. Yeah, so it's like it's really small and like it's a very small intimate like experience with with the comic book community here because there's one guy I go to. So all my dollar bin picks that I do for my videos, it's the same guy. He's
Yeah.
just the guy. I go. He sends me. So he messages me. He's like, because he's trying to clear out his room because he used to. He's the one who used to run all the conventions on island, and he used to bounce between here, Japan, Singapore, and the Philippines.
Okay.
Uh, so he has a room just full of comics from ranging from the 70s up to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so as he's sorting through, he just sends me pictures. Just like, hey, these are $1, $2, $5, or whatever, and I'll just go through and pick. And then we have like a whole group chat of us that are just like go. And then like when I come with a pile, that's like I get it from that same. It's the same guy that supplies the entire island with vintage comics.
That's
It's
cool.
funny. And then the modern comics come from the same guy, which is my local store. Who
Right.
he's small that like you can only get because there's like 1,000 covers of every issue that comes out now. He's so
Yeah.
he's so small that he can only get like I think the most he gets of any singular issue is like 5.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then like it's such a small niche community here that like when he gets a shipment in, he sends the list out to all 20 of us, and it's first come first serve. Like if you want this, you got to claim it now, and then yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
it's an interesting experience being here. I do love it here though. I do love it.
I was gonna say it might sound crazy, but that actually like the location sounds wonderful to me. Like as I as I get older, like I would love that. I would love
Yeah.
just being on an island. There's one comic shop. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
As long as I
Um,
get my fix, I'm fine.
yeah, like where I live, we just had our first snow of the year last week, and I say every year, why do we still live here? Why? when the air when the air gets so cold that it hurts your exposed skin,
Mhm.
it makes me wonder why anyone ever stayed here. Like,
That's one of my requirements for. So I'm about 5 years away from retirement,
okay,
and our me and the family are trying to figure out where we're going to settle after I get out. And one of my requirements is it cannot. I do not do snow. I don't do. We don't do cold.
yeah,
It does not get cold here. I think the coldest it's been here is like the 60s, low 60s.
mm,
So it's like I'm
uh,
spoiled.
yeah,
Uh, so we're like looking at like tropical locations, like because like me personally, me being the nerd that I am, I want to live in Japan. I want to retire in
right
Japan.
on.
If I can live there for the rest of my life, I'd be perfectly happy.
When you said it was a 4 hour flight to Japan, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so much manga and anime and like comic culture there that I mean, in North America, we only get a smidgen of it. And
Mhm.
it's funny, like even everywhere else in the world, especially for manga and anime, I think that it's more mainstream. Like even like we've been to Jamaica. My wife lived in the Canary Islands for a little bit. And
Mhm.
we always talk about going back there. That's one of our tropic places to retire to.
Yeah.
Um, and the other place is Jamaica. We've really enjoyed Jamaica as well. And again, like they have one big convention there a year, and
Mhm.
it's really dominated by anime and manga and not so much North American comics. And
Mhm.
I find that a lot of countries are like that.
Yeah.
Um, and that nothing wrong with North American comics. I love them. I grew up on them and
Yeah.
everything. But um, just the demographic is different. The influences are different. I enjoy the variety of different influences and art styles from different parts of the world.
Mhm.
Um, I'm I'm the worst for like I will read anything that's a comic book.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because right now I'm actually working on a comic book collecting course for the Creators Union, and
Nice.
there's a section that I was proofreading today about how you have to, you know, the best way to make a collection is to kind of focus in on something,
Mhm.
and one of the biggest mistakes is reading everything, and I am the biggest violator of that first mistake. I don't even care. Like, I'll just buy whole boxes of comics without looking at them. I used to do that when I was
Yeah.
young. It was like someone's selling long boxes on eBay. Yep. Boom. Bring them to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And just go through because part of that, I love discovering stuff. I love discovering stuff I haven't seen before or issues
Mhm.
I haven't seen before, reading old storylines that I wasn't aware of. Like, as a kid, most of the comics I bought because I grew up in a rural area. We didn't have a lot of comic shops.
Yeah.
Were from 25 cent, 50 cent boxes at flea markets, and I just go and I just get a whack of stuff.
Mhm.
I'd go and as a kid, if they're 25 cents a piece, you can go and bring $10 and bring home a giant stack of comics and just go through them all. Um, and so that's part of the fun for comic collecting for me.
Mhm.
Um, which works against me sometimes
Mhm.
because I end up with a whole bunch of scattered partial sets of everything, and
Mhm.
then eventually you take time and years to really focus in on the stuff that you want to finish off and like fill in holes in collections and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I love comics. I love animation,
Mhm.
um, and like I don't know what the comic scene is like in Guam, but being so close to Japan, I would have to guess that there must be some of that material there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of it here. So I know. So I watch a lot of anime.
Okay.
I grew up watching Toonami.
Okay.
Um, And one of my favorite, actually, it's a comic that I have. They released a comic and a manga of it. It's Afro Samurai.
Okay. Yeah.
Love it, right?
Yes.
And it's very like so. It depends on who you're talking to around here. So there's a lot of people that are into the like because anime is very mainstream around here because like I said, we're very close to Japan. But then
Hmm.
also since there's a military presence here, there's a lot of guys who collect comic books
Hmm.
that we're like I said, we have that group chat. There's like 20 of us in there that all shop at this one store, and I think
Right.
we're the reason it stays open. uh, and it's just like so. It's just like it depends on where you're at because like there's a lot of like there's like two anime conventions on island,
Okay.
and then there's one comic convention which is also like a mix of like the comic convention like anime makes its way in there because it's
Yeah.
like manga's a comic it's just a Japanese comic book that's
They're all
all
related. Like you
yeah it's all
can't.
this it's storytelling with pictures like it's so it's like it's all intermingled and it's like I used to think that you had to like choose a side. Like,
Right.
are you anime or are you comics? And I'm like, can
Yeah.
we not do both? Like, it's not
Yeah.
that big a deal. Like, I don't get me wrong. I'm more, I favor comic books more just because like
Yeah.
I grew up reading those. I think me personally, I think it's better storytelling, and depending on who you're reading, what you're reading. But then
Yeah.
like manga like goes it goes on forever. It goes
Yeah.
on for because my daughter watches like because my daughter's my mini me, so it's like she has like for Christmas her first Christmas here I got her My Hero Academia first half that was
Cool.
available at the time, and
Cool.
which I love that show because it's just Japanese take on American superheroes.
Yeah.
So it's like the best of both worlds, and she loves My Hero Academia, like
Yeah.
so much so to where like um, we for like all her paperwork that we have because like my daughter's adopted, we adopted her through foster care,
All right.
and all her paperwork has Deku on it.
Okay.
It's yeah, it's so she just loves that stuff, and so it's just like I feed it, and
Yeah.
like and we both have our shows that we watch together. We have like she's now starting to collect comic books, and she has her ones that she's starting to like. And it's like a lot of the stuff that like the covers that she likes because she collects covers is like the more manga Japanese style art that
Right.
she's like kind of favorite towards. And then she's an artist as well, and so she draws a lot of anime inspired stuff. She'll do like my favorite superhero of all time is Green Lantern, and so
Okay.
she drew me a pretty much a manga-ized Green Lantern as a gift, and it was just
Okay.
like I love it. You just combined both my worlds together, and it was great. So it's like say Guam is just if you're a nerd, if you're a nerd, you're a nerd. So it's just like we all just kind of just get along
Yeah.
and get yeah. So I really do like it here. I really hope to kind of either retire in Japan or here and bounce. Like the dream would be we have a house in Japan and here we just bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
That's ideal,
Yeah.
but see.
Yeah. No, that's a great dream. And like you said, all those things you said about, you know, her being into manga and North American comics, I personally feel like I missed out because I feel like I just missed where like anime and manga really hit and got its popularity in North America. Like
Mhm,
I just missed it in that I didn't have a lot of anime and manga as a kid growing up to be exposed to. So
mhm,
like I'm 44 and I have a friend who's in his mid 30s and he's almost the exact opposite of me. He likes a little bit of comic books but really into manga and anime, and like when he talks with other people who are into manga and anime, like he knows his stuff, he knows everything, and they can converse. And I'm often left like a little bit out of it because I don't understand it all.
mhm.
I had like Astro Boy and Voltron, and like I, I caught like I was aware of like when Sailor Moon got big and when Pokemon got big,
Mhm,
but it was like that one age group younger than me that really got it and really was kind of immersed in it growing up. And it doesn't help too. Like I lived literally like in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness. Like we only had 3 channels on the TV, right?
Yeah.
So no comic shops to speak of nearby. So it was really, slim pickings.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that I didn't get exposed to until later, I kind of wished I'd had some of that exposure when I was younger, because there
Mm.
is so much good stuff. Like there's so much good stuff. Like and you mentioned Afro Samurai, one of my favorite animes. That's an awesome series. I had all of the metal box set that came with the headband
Mm.
and all that. But it was one I caught in like a bargain bin later. So I didn't even catch it when it first came out. I caught it later, and then I was like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, uh, Claymore. I watched all of that.
Yeah.
I watched some of Attack on Titan.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember the first episode of Attack on Titan blew my mind when the show was ending and the credits were rolling and you're not expecting anything big to happen, and then the main character's mother gets eaten by one of those giants while the credits are rolling, and you're like, what? I thought
Is
this
that
was done.
watching? Okay, cool. Got it. Yeah, it was funny is so I remember so I remember when Afro Samurai came out. I remember seeing the advertisement for it on TV. It came out on Spike TV when Spike
Okay.
TV was a thing.
Yeah.
And like the channel for men. That's what that
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
it was one of those shows, and I remember watching it. And what caught my eye about it was an anime, and it was voiced by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, got me right there. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I love Mace Windu, and
Yeah.
and I watched it, and I remember I watched it by myself, and I was like, this is amazing. I have to. I need to. I need the DVD. I need the books. I need this. I need this. I need
Yeah.
this. And then I started collecting all of it, so much so to where like I had like on my car was Afro Samurai stickers. I
Oh,
worked at a paintball field at the time, and the owner etched Afro Samurai onto my paintball gun. And,
nice.
and then like I have him tattooed on my chest. Like Afro is right here.
Nice.
And then my daughter wants to. She's like, I want to watch Afro Samurai. I was like, no, wait till you're. Let's wait till. She's like, is
Gotta
it
wait
that
for
there's
that.
a particular part that I'm just like, you can't. You don't need to see that. That's fine. We'll
Yeah.
wait. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so much so that actually influenced. So I'm dabbling. I dabble in the. I just started writing myself. I'm not an artist by any means, and I
Okay.
just started writing my own book. And it's so Afro is inspired by an actual African samurai. His name was Yasuke,
Yeah.
and my book it's the descendant of Yasuke. He's the main character, but in the story, so after the fall of Nobunaga, when Yasuke was last recorded in history, no one knows what happened to him. So
Okay.
with that, you can just do whatever you want. And
Right.
so I took it as though everyone theorized he left Japan and went back to Mozambique, which is the theory of where he's from. But
Okay.
for me, what I decided to do is like, no, he stayed in Japan and he just traveled up and down, learning as much as he can about the culture because he became the first African samurai without growing up in actual Japanese culture. And so he learned to sword fight he learned his swordsmanship from other samurai. He learned the way of the ninja. He learned archery. He learned all these different things, and then he used it to there's other African quote unquote either slaves or freemen that were in Japan that were just wandering and had nowhere really to go until he created this society for them within Japan
That sounds
called
really
the Kurihara, which is dark skin in Japanese.
okay.
And so he created the society, and then that society ended up maintaining the balance in Japan. It maintains the balance between the darker side of Japan and then the lighter side of Japan, allowing it to like succeed to get it is where it is now. And in my character, Amari Kenshin is his descendant, but he doesn't know his history. But
Okay.
he has the birthmark of Yasuke, which has been passed down, and so he lives in Japan. He has this inkling. He's African American, and he has this connection with Japan, which he doesn't fully understand. He just knows he loves the culture, so he's there. He's a Japanese historian, and he's trying to solve the mystery of why Japan has succeeded over time because of all these things that should have caused Japan to collapse. And what he's actually trying to find is the Kurihara, who's maintained the balance.
Okay.
And through the story, he's going to figure out himself and meet how the Kurihara has survived this time, and how he's actually going to eventually get to the point where he's leading it because he's destined to be the leader of the Kurihara. And so that's a story I'm trying to tell, and I'm working. And that is inspired. And all of it comes from I grew up with Afro Samurai, Yasuke, which I did once I figured out he was a person. I did all this deep research on him, figure out who he was and like what's known about him, because there's very little known about him. Like it was so I think altogether it took me usually you can deep dive. There's books and books and books and books and books, but it's a handful of articles about this guy, and he's recorded in history, but it's for a short 1 year period that he's recorded in history, and no one knows what happened to him. So it's just it's fun, and then I'm finding myself taking inspiration from all these different samurai stories because I love samurai. I think samurais are cooler than ninjas in my personal opinion. Okay. But it's I'm finding all this different stuff, and I'm just trying to how to tie it in and all these different things, and it's just I don't know. It's just a fun process. Is it going to get published? Who knows? I don't care. Yeah. I just kind of write it and maybe give it to my daughter and let her do whatever with it. Hey, so much all the characters in this. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean that's a big thing too. Is you can get caught up in deciding what you're going to do with it before you've actually done it. So, but focus on it and get it done. Finish it. That sounds like an awesome story. I'd like to see it. There's a really good. I don't know if you are into the old 70s martial arts movies.
They're fun to watch.
Right. There's a comic book series, and it's a few years old now. It's called Infinite Kung Fu. The creator is Kagan McLeod, and that's a really good one to check out. It's got a lot of that Afro samurai kind of vibe, and they've got zombies in it too, but it's very much samurai and Japanese inspired. It's a really good series if you ever get a chance to check it out. And
definitely.
Kagan's a good guy. We used to hang out at the in the artist alley together back in the day in the conventions in the early 2000s, and yeah, really good series. Really enjoy that one. And I've got the big collected edition somewhere around here.
I'm definitely gonna check it out because I do enjoy a good kung fu movie.
Yeah.
One of my top, I think it's in my top 5 because I like good bad movies. Those are my favorites. You ever heard of Man with the Iron Fist with the RZA?
Yes.
The RZA, Russell Crowe, Lucy Liu, and all of them are in this. It is terrible, but it is so much fun to watch because the RZA's acting. The RZA can't act, but he's the main character, and it's so ridiculous because it's essentially he's a swordsmith, a weapons. He makes weapons for all the ninja clans or all the different clans in the movie, and he does something to make somebody mad. And he cut his arms off, and so he crafts his own hands out of iron, and then uses his chi that he has randomly throughout the movie to bond himself to it. And now he's the Man with the Iron Fist, and it's.
I'm aware of the movie. I haven't seen it, but now I might have to check it out.
It's 90 minutes of a good time is. Oh, hi.
This is the guy that made it so that I had to cancel last week. Aww. He was having some problems, but he's fine now.
Oh, good. I'm glad he's feeling better.
Yeah. He was handful.
If you want to see some I have 90 minutes of just fun ridiculousness.
Right.
Man with the Iron Fist. There's a second one I haven't seen, but I think it's actually just terrible. Not fun, just terrible. So I haven't watched it yet, but it's a good time. It's fun.
It's like when you see some of those really bad CGI ripoff movies. There's one of the Transformers called the Transmorphers. and, and you're like, oh, like just you see the promo image or the cover of the movie, and you're like, oh, damn, that looks awful.
That looks terrible. Who approved this?
Yeah, but like you look at Sharknado, man. Like I saw the first four Sharknado movies.
So, yeah, I was like, why are we watching this? I don't understand why
Yeah,
we're watching this. We're dedicated to it. And
yeah,
I lived in the dorms at my first base when that movie came out,
okay,
and we all piled up into my room. We were all just hanging out, eating popcorn, drinking a few beers, and watching this movie. And we're all having a blast watching it.
yeah,
And I was like, I don't understand why this is so much fun to watch
right.
because it's
After
so
you've
good.
seen the first one, there's really not much new that they add to the sequels. There's, there's, I forget
Yeah,
if I think it's the third one where they have Gilbert Gottfried as a newscaster, and the
yeah.
freaking tornado hits a fire, and then he's like, "Now it's a fire sharknado."
It's like, oh my
It's
God.
ridiculous.
It's also like the Expendables. The Expendables is
Yeah,
just same thing. It's like this is not a great movie. This is just action on action on action. We're just
yeah,
getting, and the actors are getting older every movie. So
yeah.
it's just, but it's so much fun. I loved it. I watched all of them.
Yeah.
I watched all.
And like anyone, it's like whenever you hear someone complain about the writing for like an action movie like The Expendables or like a Rambo movie, like that's not why you're watching it. It's not about the writing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
you want to see ridiculous, over the top action and explosions and like I'm not looking for Shakespeare there. Like I'm
yeah.
not,
I'm not
not
looking for an Oscar-worthy movie here. I'm not.
right.
That's not what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I don't care if it ever wins an award.
No, that's why I love good bad. Like my favorite movie of all time is Blade 2.
Right. Yeah, Blade, that whole series, I feel like I think my favorite is still the first one, but I think Blade 2 is underrated. Blade 3 is slightly underrated. Um I really love that they brought back Wesley Snipes as Blade and Deadpool and Wolverine.
I
Um
think it's because the new Blade movie to get derailed because they derailed even harder because it was like they brought Wesley Snipes and like this is the only Blade. This is the only person that you can have play Blade is Wesley Snipes. I
right.
don't care how old he is. He could be 90. He's playing Blade
Did you ever see the Blade TV series?
on Spike. It was on Spike.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So it's just,
someone has played Blade.
yes, they have.
Not the same quality.
Played it, but it's just like you can't beat Wesley Snipes because like
No.
Wesley Snipes wasn't even supposed to be in the MCU movie. I was
Yeah.
like, so I was like, that's you dropped the ball there because like me personally, what I would like to see is Blade is Whistler. It's like old
Okay.
Blade, gray dreadlocks, teaching a new Blade of
Right.
sorts. Like not actually in the story, but like kind of like metaphorically, that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing
Right.
Blade, like Wesley Snipes, pass on the role to somebody.
Kind of like what they're doing with Buffy now, from what I've
Yeah,
read. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. I was gonna say, I remember it's funny too. I think it was before Blade 3. I saw an interview. I remember watching an interview with Wesley Snipes, and they were asking him if he was gonna keep doing Blade and action movies in general. And he was like, no. He's like, I'm over 50. I'm too old for this. I don't want to keep doing it. And then he ended up continuing doing it. Now that might have been part of because of his tax problems. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think that changed his life plans. But
Yeah,
at one time, I remember seeing him go, "I'm not." He's like, "I am." I think he was like, "I am over 50. I cannot keep doing these movies." And then,
of course he
but
does.
as long as like, I mean, even in the Blade movies, in Blade 2 and 3, there were scenes where they CGI'd some of the action. Um, I think I can recall in Blade 2 a scene where he's jumping around and it's clearly not him. It's a CGI version of him that's jumping around and fighting
Pretty
with
strong.
with the spread mouth vampires. I forget the proper term. I've got
Yeah.
all the movies. You would think
It's
I
really
could
funny.
remember that.
I have the comic book for Blade 2, like the movie adaptation
Yeah.
comic book.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, and it's literally shot for shot as a comic book. It's really funny. I remember I remember the final fight. Blade does like, or is this the first one where he does the backflip off the tower? No, this is the second one. He's like falls into the the pool of blood or whatever to heal himself or whatever, and like when he's doing the fall, you can like obviously see that it's a CGI body falling into the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was it's still just like I just love it. Like, and then my daughter was like, "Can we watch Blade 2?" I was like, you're 14. Let's wait till 17. Yeah, but I can't wait to show her because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's funny. I love it. It's some of the it's my one of my grails in comic books is the first appearance of Blade in comics. It's I think it's
Okay.
Count Dracula.
Tomb Dracula.
Tomb of Dracula 10.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so I was like, that's one of my grails, and every time I find it, it's just like, this is too expensive.
Right? If it's in any kind of decent condition, I mean,
Yeah.
you could probably like I've seen really beat up bad condition copies, and I'm like, I always struggle with it because I'm like, I could buy this, and I know they're asking too much for it already from the condition it's in, but I could get it and I would have it.
Yeah. But I want a nice copy.
Yeah.
Like I don't just need to be perfect. I just need like a readable copy where like I don't feel like it's gonna fall apart in my hands. I just want to be able to like pick it up and like go through the pages and stuff. But maybe in the future, maybe that's my retirement gift to myself or something. Who knows?
For sure. We've only got 5 years, right?
Yeah, we only got only 5 more years. Only 5 more years. I'm almost done.
Yeah. Then you'll just be finding a tropical paradise.
Yes. Well, I really appreciate you doing this. This is great fun. I think we should do this again.
For sure. Anytime.
I really appreciate you coming on here doing this and being our first featured member. And I really appreciate all the activity in the community that you give.
And
It's a struggle when trying to get that traffic in school. But I really appreciate all your input to it. I really appreciate all the effort you put into your courses over in Creators Union. They're helpful to me, and I really do appreciate all the effort you put into them. And I can't wait to see it grow.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know if you saw the post the other day, but I have over 120 draft items to add to that classroom.
Yeah,
In there. And I was working on the next 3 to 6 of them today, and I was like, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. But there's so many things, and like there's so many things that I've taught in the past. And as I mentioned, I'm not teaching in schools as much anymore, but there's still so many things I enjoyed teaching, and I kind of want to make that kind of find a new venue for that and connect with more people who want to learn it beyond the area I live in, right? Because I've taught in a lot of prominent schools in Ontario, in Canada here, but there's so many people in so many places, and there's a lot of places that don't have access to a school that offers that kind of education. So that's why I really like taking kind of the passion I have for teaching it and sharing that excitement and finding ways to offer that to other people out there. So that's what I really want to do.
Well, I'm here to support you. I will support any course that, especially the writer's block one. And I can't wait to see the comic collectors one, the comic collecting one. That's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see that one. See how many different things I'm doing wrong in collecting.
I'm the biggest violator on is reading everything, and I can't help it. Because I just love kind of looking at all the different things and putting together for myself what influenced something else or where their influences come from, and like different artists and cultures, and like I get lost in my own mind doing that, but I love it. I enjoy it so much.
Well, I can truly see your passion for it, and I truly appreciate it. It's actually very inspiring to me seeing, because every time I open school, I see like the first few notifications is like Creators Union. I was like, I love it. I love seeing it. It makes me want to like. That's honestly the videos I've been posting. I kind of changed my whole approach to it, because like when you do your videos going through your collections of stuff you receive in the mail, it's like, oh, this is great. This is kind of what inspired me. So I changed my whole approach to how I'm posting. Instead of doing the questions that I was doing, I'm like, no, I'm going to start posting more videos and like kind of going through my collection and kind of wants me. It kind of helps me like go through it more. It kind of inspires me to when I see my buddy sends me the text saying like, "Hey, this is what I got. This is what I got." Kind of got, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to. I'm looking for interesting covers or interesting stories that I haven't really seen because like initially I was just like when he was sending stuff, it's like, oh, what's the value of this? But like it doesn't matter about the value of the book itself; is what it values to me, and sharing that with other people. So thank you for the inspiration. I really
Awesome.
appreciate it.
I'm glad to
I
hear that.
I know for a fact that like if you're going to keep it going and it's going to grow and it's going to be something great, and I can't wait to see it.
Appreciate that. Thanks. The same to you as well. And I really enjoy your group as well.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome.
Thank you. So I unfortunately I have to get out of here. I do have to do a different. I have another. I have another call because I'm like kind of preloading because we're actually going to Japan next week for Thanksgiving. So
Cool,
I'm kind of
cool.
preloading the videos. So I do have to do another one here next. So I really do appreciate you.
All
Thank
right.
you for doing this, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Awesome. Thanks. You too.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Later.